Hey, second grade. I am here with my son Eric. You're going to hear him sing a little bit later. And we're going to just review some things because this week you are creating a Fermata composition. And so first, you should have this information in your website, and I'll go over that a little bit later. But first, we're just going to review a bunch of things that you should already have a pretty good handle of, but I'm just going to review it all. So first of all of our note values. So you all know that we have these note values, right? These are the ones you need to use. In the description it says you need to use all of these rhythms. You need to use a ta, a tt, a rest, a ta-ah, and at least one tiri-tiri, at least one of each of these, so that I can see that you know how to write them. But also, next week when you perform your composition, I'll be able to see that you know how to perform your rhythms. So just a quick review, a ta looks like this. It has one sound and it is equal to one beat. It's also really important that you know how many beats each is worth, because you're going to need to put the right amount of beats into each measure, which we'll review in just a moment. So that's one sound on one beat. A TT looks like that. It's two sounds for one beat. A rest looks like that. It is 0 sounds for one beat. A ta-ah looks like that, and it's one sound. You hold it for 2 beats, one sound. And a tiri-tiri looks like that, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 note heads, so it has 4 sounds, but it's all connected, so it fits into one beat. So when you're writing this, don't think that this is 4 beats. It is only one beat because it's all connected. And this is only one beat because it's connected with that. So even though it's 2 sounds, it's one beat. So those are our 5 kinds of notes you need to use. And then just real quick, we're going to review this. Meter talks about the measures that you have, and measures are divided by bar lines. If you want to think of a measure, you could think of a measure like a house, or like a room, actually, like a room. And the bar lines are kind of like walls of each room. So this room has these notes. This room has these bar lines, or these walls. It has these notes. And so a bar line, within these bar lines then, how many beats are there in each? Here's my question. How many beats are in each measure in this example here? I'll let you think about it for a moment. The answer is 2, right? There are 2 beats here, because a TT, even though it has 2 sounds, it's 1 beat. So 2 beats. And here, again, a tiri-tiri has 4 sounds, but it's 1 beat, so you have 2 beats. Now the fermata, it does make it longer, but it doesn't count. So when you put your fermatas in, that doesn't change the number of beats you are counting in each measure, although it does change how you perform it. So know that the fermata does not affect the number of beats in each measure. Alright, and so then I have an example here of a 3/4. Here, this is called a time signature. This time signature tells you how many beats. So you'd either do 3/4 or 2/4. I have my example here of 2/4. You're going to either do your meter in 2 or in 3. You decide, and make sure your whole composition is in 2 or in 3. Okay? So here's another example. Here's if I perform this, it would be like this. Ta, ti, ti, tiri, tiri, ta. Did you hear how I held that ta a lot longer? But again, it's 3 beats. And it's 3 beats because this is 2 beats. It's a ta-ah is 2 beats plus 1. A rest counts as a beat. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So when you make your composition, you make sure that your notes in each measure are correct. Okay? So now before we get into writing and just following the instructions on your composition sheet, my son Eric here is going to do a little help with me. He's going to sing a song that you probably all know, This Little Light of Mine. And we're going to pretend that there is a fermata on every word mine and every word shine. Thanks, Eric. And so he's going to follow me. I'm going to be the conductor, and he's going to follow me, because whenever you have a fermata, you hold it for longer. And if you are being conducted, where do you put your eyes?
On the conductor.
On the conductor. Okay, so I'm going to move so you can see my hands, and you can see Eric. So here we go. Ready, Eric? This little light. And go.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Awesome. Give me a high five. So you can see he was holding all of those mines and shines for longer, because we said that they were fermatas, and so he had to watch the conductor. Great job, right? He has a nice voice. All right, so here is your fermata rhythm composition sheet. And so it has all the instructions. You got to read all of these carefully. It says, again, you have to use all the notes. It says you need to use 1 meter. So I underlined that there, if you can read it. But you can read it probably better on the website. Using 1 instrument, I wrote my instrument. I'm going to use a tambourine that I happen to have. But again, you can use any instrument that you had in your timbre assignment 2 weeks ago. You can use any of those. You can use anything you made. You could stomp. If you want to stomp and snap, or stomp and clap, just make sure it's really clear on here. I just chose to use 1 instrument. But if you're going to use stomping sometimes and clapping, write it like underneath a measure, write stomp. Underneath this measure, write clap. However you want to do that. Okay? It says you must use a fermata. This is a fermata rhythm composition. So you need to use a fermata. Okay? And so I have 3 of them here. I have 1, 2, 3. As you can see, my fermatas. And then you're going to practice performing it. Next week I'll have you turn it in, but for this week I'm going to grade your composition and maybe say, you forgot this, and you forgot that, and you forgot this. I'll grade your composition, and then you can maybe make a better composition so that when you perform it next week, you can get a better grade. Okay? So here is my composition. I'm going to hold it up here so you can see it, and I'm going to perform it. So here we go. 1, 2, starting with these CTs. Ready? Here I go. For the fermatas, I'm going to shake it. I'm going to start over again. Here we go. T, T, ta. Going on. Tiri, tiri, ta. Now here's my half note. And now I'm going on. Here we go. T, 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 T. Tiri, tiri, T, T, ta. And there's my performance. So you're going to do all of that in the next 2 weeks. So for this week, all you need to do is compose. You could do it on this sheet. You could print it out and do it on this sheet and then take a picture. Or if you want to just do it on a separate sheet of paper, you don't really need to print it out. Just make sure you have a title. You tell me what instruments you're doing. You have a time signature. All of your measures are in that time. You can see all of my measures have 2 beats. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, because it's a ta-ah, which is worth 2 beats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, because a ta-ah is 2 beats. So you write it out, you send me a picture of it in an email, and then I'll give you some feedback. All right? Have fun composing, have fun making music.